We're going out to the garden, nature's garden. We're going to go out there and celebrate the forageable community. There's also a larger community that includes all the plants and animals, as the Native Americans say, all our relations, and we're a part of it all. And the more we can participate and engage ourselves in the natural world, the more we realize who we really are. So let's go out there and see what we can find. Come on. Oh, look. Yeah, you know, there's a Native American plant that's important for any of us to know that are foragers and spend any time in the woods. And there's actually an old song that sort of celebrates this plant. It goes something like this. She comes on like a rose. She comes on like a rose. Dun, 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 dun. Everybody knows. Dun, 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 dun. She'll get you in Dutch. Dun, 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 dun. You can look, but you better not touch. Poison ivy, poison ivy. Late at night when you're sleeping, poison ivy comes a-creeping around. Ha, 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 ha. The measles make you mumpy, the mumps will make you lumpy, the chicken pox will make you jump and switch. Buh. The common cold will cool you, the whooping cough will fool you, but poison ivy, Lord, will make you itch. Ah, you're gonna need an ocean, dun, 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 of jewelweed lotion. Dun, 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 you'll be scratching like a hound. Dun, 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 the minute you start to mess around. You know, you can tell poison ivy, it has 3 leaves with little jags on it. Often we'll say, leaves of 3, let it be. Here I am telling you how irritating poison ivy can be, yet here I am touching it. You're probably wondering what the deal is. Well, I read it in the Yule Gibbons book. Yule Gibbons was the dean of American wild food foragers, and he said the West Coast loggers would be out there in the poison oak and poison ivy thickets. They would go out in the spring of the year. They'd look right in the very center and get the little tiny bud of the plant. They'd take it and they'd eat it. And then the next day they'd eat another bud. Next day they'd eat another bud. And every day the bud would be getting swelled up bigger. Soon they'd be eating a little cluster of the leaves. And they'd be eating a bigger cluster of the leaves. By the end of the year, they'd be eating a whole cluster. And it would immunize them. Well, I tried that. And you know what? I don't get poison ivy anymore. And I used to get poison ivy, but now I can actually touch it. Well, you know, the sad part about that is it seems like those that need it the most, it probably won't work for. And you know, probably the best remedy that I know people who are highly sensitive, they're in the poison ivy that work with, is a homeopathic dose called Rhus tox. When the bluebirds fly south out of the north, they usually fly mostly to the Carolinas. Now, bluebirds mostly eat insects, but in the wintertime, even though we're in the Carolinas, it gets cold sometimes. There's no insects around. What do the bluebirds live off of? Poison ivy seeds. So in some ways it really helps a lot of the whole environment. It's part of the environment. Another thing, you know, you realize, like here we are back in the deep woods. Is there a lot of poison ivy here? No. Actually, I had to look really hard to find these 3 little patches of poison ivy. It doesn't grow very well in the deep shade. But if you were to come through here and bulldoze this place, that poison ivy would just take off. And that poison ivy would just kind of cover the ground. It would make the whole area impassable. So if we think of ourselves as people who are trying to kind of heal some of humanity's devastation on the planet, realize that poison ivy is on our side. It's one of the healers. It's one of the plants that takes over when the forests come down. And so some people actually call it sister ivy, just to remind us that it's a sacred plant. Poison ivy, it's one of our allies.